watching Slow Walk It with Adrian, and I'm your host, Adrian Lavella. Welcome to the special episode entitled Seizing the Moment. Whether you've had your business for a very long time, or you're just starting out as a fresh entrepreneur, or maybe you haven't started yet, but you have that entrepreneurial spirit, well, this show is for you. It's entrepreneurs telling their story. I'm going to let our panel guests introduce themselves. So let's get started.
Hi, of course, I am Antoine Gidron, and I am out of North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina to be exact. And of course, I represent High Credit Society. And we have a goal to just help people empower themselves financially, mentally, and spiritually, and to really get some financial literacy in the community. I feel like a lot of people are deprived from financial literacy, and it's that missing link to take them to the next level. So, what I do, and I train my team to do, we help them get their credit scores where they need to be. We help them get finance for homes or new cars, or we help them learn about business credit. And the business credit is very, very important in 2021 because we're teaching individuals how to use the bank's money to then go out there and purchase them properties to then make them some revenue. So it's really game changer stuff. We offer other products with our services. You can get will and trust, Wildfield Family Literacy Mint, teach kids from age 8 to 18 financial literacy. So that's a real game changer because I can agree if I was taught financial literacy at a young age, then I would have been in a better situation now. But with this opportunity, it's just a great way for you to change not only yourself, but the people around you and help your community out because credit repair is very, very important and we've been deprived of it.
You're absolutely right. You make an undeniably valid point. In addition to that, we're in the COVID season, we're in a pandemic, and credit has gone down, unemployment has gone up. And my question to you is, how has that affected your business? How has COVID and all of the volatility affected your business?
This is a pandemic proof business. And if you're really trying to position yourself right financially, you got to have yourself in a position to be in a pandemic proof business because, as you all can see, when COVID did hit, millions of jobs were affected. So, actually, when people was losing their jobs, our company was able to triple in business because
Wow.
not only were people help with their credit repair, people was losing jobs. So when they was coming to me, Antoine, I can't find employment, and my credit is bad. I got an opportunity for you to not go to the unemployment line, to start your own business, to build your own legacy. So when people's were, the doors was closing on them, they was coming to our company, and that's when we triple in business during a pandemic. So it's a very, very exciting time, and I love being in a pandemic-proof business.
Well, I'm sure you do. Help me out here because you said that you help people repair their credit, reposition themselves, right? But then you mentioned run your own business. So did we miss something? Do you do both? So who is this for? Are you repairing credit and helping people run their business? Who are we talking about? People who are in the financial industry? Who is your business for? Who's your target market?
Okay. Well, we have opportunities for you to come and get your credit repaired. And a lot of our science, a lot of our clients see results in about 30 to 45 days. So in a
Okay.
situation to where you needing to buy a home or you needing to buy a car, you're going to get those quick results. You're able to monitor everything through your own website. And for that person who wants to get their credit fixed and start a business at the same time, it's an opportunity for you to actually make money in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii. As long as you got Wi-Fi, you can actually make a living on the go. 10 times better than a work from home job. Work from home jobs, you got to be at home. In 2021, the name of the game is financial freedom. So you want to be able to get your finances and you want to be free. With this company, it allows you to do both.
Okay, I'm a little impressed. So, quickly tell us where you came from and what caused you to seize the moment. Tell us when you seized the moment. What was that time between figuring out what you were going to do, making a plan, and actually, putting feet to pavement and running with the vision, running with what you had? Tell us about that moment.
Okay. Well, you know what? I think it was destiny that I came into this company because I'm gonna tell you, I worked at a plastic industry for 10 years and I was a supervisor. And I was just mentally getting my mind right, reading books, The Millionaire Next Door, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So that made me realize that I was in the wrong room. They said if you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. So
Yeah.
I was the only one with any ambition to want to do better. So what happens was I actually talked myself in a position to where I lost my job, because I was going to work every day just, and the power of the tongue is very powerful because I was going to work complaining, man, I don't like this job. And a situation came to where I actually ended up getting fired. But the great thing about that, 2 days before I got fired, I had ran into this opportunity. So when I got fired that day, guys, I'm gonna tell you what happened. After they fired me, Mike, they gave me my last check on the way out the door. I called this stranger who I talked to 2 days before and I said, Anthony, let's go. I said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to make it happen. I didn't know nothing about this business. I didn't know nothing about credit repair, but I was willing to make a change because I knew to break generational curses, it was going to have to start with me. I seen my father do it. I seen my grandfather do it as far as work, traditional jobs, retirement. I can't do it. I got to be that change in my family. So that day, when I was riding home and I made that call, that one decision to invest in myself and invest in this company totally changed my life. Ever since that day, I've been working for myself and I've learned how to fly. I got my wings and I've living my best life, literally. So, but it all took that decision with me just investing in myself and just want to build a legacy.
So anybody can do it. That's what you're saying. Anybody can do it?
Anybody can do it. In less than 2 years, I was able to start a six-figure business. So as long as you're willing and you're coachable and you ready to just be the first millionaire in your family, because that's what I'm working on being. It's that great opportunity. So a lot of times, a lot of people going to school to get degrees. In that same time, we're able to build 6 and 7 figure businesses. So it's a very, very great opportunity.
Okay, so the mission was to encourage somebody. I think you did that. I think you accomplished the goal. Mission accomplished. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that.
Everyone. My name is Afsane. I'm glad to be here. I am the co-founder of a new business called TetraQuo. And what we've created a chemical formula that simulates the exact condition of a hot spring in the bathtub. So you basically can soak in a hot spring water in the convenience of your home. And the reason that we came up with this idea is I love nature. I love having that experience myself, but unfortunately, I live in New York City. Not that only I'm living in a very dense, populated city, but also there are not a lot of options in regards to hot springs on the East Coast in general. So I've created this product. It took us a bit more than 7 months to do all the research and come up with the perfect formula that simulates the exact condition of 4 different hot springs that we have so far. And that's a little bit background about TetraQuo.
Wow. So tell me about how long have you been doing this? I know it's a new venture, but about how long have you been in it thus far?
We are super new. We are toward the end of our Kickstarter campaign actually right now. We have like 3 days left. We've reached our goal today. So that's another good news. Yeah, and we've been doing this about a month and a half or something like that for now. We've been working on the formula for about a year now, but we officially launched the business about a month and a half ago.
Well, I tell you what, I want to buy it myself, put it in my tub, and create my own experience. So this is really good. So you're in position to move forward. Okay, so we know that you studied, you researched, you tested. I mean, you've gone through great lengths of preparation. So tell me, what was the point between preparation and actually seizing the moment, actually putting your feet to the pavement and moving on the vision that you had written down, studied, researched, and tested. So, what was that moment? Tell me about that.
Um, I want to say I wanted to fix my own problem. I see no one else is fixing it. So I decided to do it myself and bring that to other people because I think that's the most important point in business, that you got to fix your own problem. And I see that is kind of an issue with many startups that I see around. Like I've known someone who wanted to fix a problem that is basically happening in a third world country, and she's from US. She never been there. She doesn't actually understand the issue perfectly, and that's the problem. So I believe you got to fix your own problem, and that was my problem. I didn't have any product out there that could fix my problem, so I created myself. And I thought of bringing that to other people who might have a similar need or similar interests.
Right. I mean, the whole point of a successful business, whether it be products or services, is to meet a need. It's to become an answer for something. Your product or your service needs to answer something. That's the whole point, right?
The farther the issue is from yourself, from a person, the more issues you're going to have creating that business, in my perspective, because you don't know everything about the problem inside out. So the closer the issue is to yourself, you're going to have more ideas of how to fix that. And that's what I think about TetraCool.
You're absolutely right, Afsani. I mean, you can be very passionate about something that affects you, right? So tell me this, what has been your greatest challenge in starting this business?
Before actually launching the business, the biggest challenge was the amount of time, energy, and money that we had to spend on research, because this was a new product. We had to create it ourselves, and there was a lot of lab equipment needed, a lot of research time needed. It wasn't something that we were going to figure it out overnight. And that was time and money concerns in regards to doing the research. The next challenging thing that we faced was patenting our product, because we wanted to patent our product because this is a unique formula that we've created, and we spent a lot of time and effort on it. And just going through that process, making sure everything is on time before launching and things like that was also a bit challenging. Since we've launched our product, we had a lot of success. We've been featured on a lot of different media. And so it was a bit more smooth as soon as we launched, but we had a lot of hassle before having the business even out there. So
You're going to run into obstacles that's going to make you want to rethink it, make you want to quit. What do you have to say to that?
yeah, absolutely. And I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't like we've created a prototype and it worked and everything was fine. I can say even maybe more than 100 prototypes after we got the point that this is the formula, but just how it feels, how everything is proportional, and all those things. And I was the person who was testing the product myself. So I actually got it and used it in my bathroom to make sure that this is the product I want to, send out there. So it was a long, crazy ride, but I'm glad we did it.
So, Afsani, what would you say to someone who's in the heat of their business, the heat of the challenge of their business, and they're really contemplating giving up? What would you say to them?
Don't forget that all the things you have around you right now never existed, and someone decided and thought of working super hard to make this possible for you. So you got to do that yourself for others. And if you see something is missing in this world, create it. It's not going to be easy, but make sure the next generation will have that around them as well.
How exciting. Thank you, Afsani.
Thank you so much. It was very nice to meet you, and thank you for having me.
My name is Sharonetta Breland. I live in Bellflower, California, and I have a boutique called Shay's Fashion. And I started this boutique actually during the pandemic. Well, a while back, I was selling like things from my closet through another platform that got a percentage of, what you sold on their thing. So during the pandemic, I was home. I got injured from work. And I was like, oh, what can I do? And I started seeing other people, and I was like, I can do that. And I talked to my godson, and he gave me a list of vendors. And from there, I just started ordering clothes. I made a Facebook page. I proceeded to get all my paperwork in order to make it legal. And it just took off. It just literally took off. I just started posting pictures of the clothes and my family. First it started with family and friends. And I didn't have a large following. And I was like, if you're pleased with your purchase, could you just, like tag a few people to join the group? And from there, it just started growing. And I do pretty good, no complaints. I think one of my biggest things that help me is because I am in LA. So I get to go to the garment district. I can see, the materials, I can feel, and, I can see, hands-on versus just ordering something. I don't know what it looks like. So everything I have on my site, I actually have it in stock. And that what makes me set apart because so I'm what you call brick and mortar. It's a physical building and I have my product. A lot of people do drop shipment, which means they post other people's pictures. You order from them, they charge you a little more, and then they order from somebody else, and then you wait 6 weeks, 2 weeks, or however long to get your product. Versus me, you can come to my house and pick it up. I deliver or I ship. And I don't charge an arm and a leg also for what I sell. And I see the same products that I have on other people's websites, and they're selling them for like 110, 79. And whereas somebody's selling something for 110, you may find it on my website for 65 or $70. And I think also too that what helps me, I'm not trying to rob anybody. I know how it feels to have kids and mortgage and car payments and insurance, but yet you want to look nice too without breaking your whole budget. So I think that's what also sets me apart.
Sharonetta, I'm going to tell you what I like about your story so much is you represent the everyday person. I mean, just the everyday person, whether it be a mom, a wife, or like you were, someone who said, you know what, I just got handed some lemons. Let me see if I can make lemonade. So you represent that average, everyday person. And I really like that because I believe we need more of those stories. So tell me, from the time you said to yourself, what can I do? And decide, oh, I'll do this. Tell me what was the seize the moment for you, where you put feet to pavement and started moving.
Well, anybody that knows me knows I'm not a procrastinator. And once I get something in my head, it's like I just actually just move on it. So, like I said, I had a thought one day, I made a phone call, and then from there, it just started happening. And within a couple of days, I was actually getting boxes of clothes delivered to my house. It was just like within a matter of a week, it was just taking off. And it took
Wow.
faster than what I really expected it to.
Hmm. Was there ever a time you had an uh-oh moment where you said, uh-oh, I wasn't expecting that? And uh-oh, that kind of set me back a little bit. Tell us about an uh-oh moment for you.
Well, actually, you know what? I was so used to having sales every day, and I hadn't had a sale in probably like 3 days. And I said, oh my goodness, I feel like a failure. I'm not doing something right because I should have a sale every day. And I, was, pondering in my mind, what could I do or what did I do wrong? And my first thought was, I need to pray, like that. So I prayed, and I gave it to God. Literally, I said, Lord, I need you to make this successful. Now I'm gonna do the leg work, but I really need this to be successful. And then from there, like the next day, I had like one sale and she spent like $300. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. I was like, oh my God. And I was so excited. And I was telling my husband, look, I prayed and it worked, and stuff. But yeah, so I have this wall and I probably should have did it. I actually turned my den into my boutique. So in my den, I have these affirmations on the wall and I read them every day. So failure is not an option. I have to succeed and I have to stay focused.
Yeah, it is true. Prayer does work, undeniably so. So that one client, which I'm considering a yes, made up for all of the silent no's of sales that you did not get. And you mentioned staying focused. Staying focused. I think those are keywords. Stay focused. Death and life really are in the power of the tongue. And so we have to be, I like what you said, we have to be, you said failure is not an option, and we have to be so careful about what we speak over our lives and what we don't speak over our lives. And so, yeah, we hold that power in our tongues. And when you say, to yourself and into the atmosphere that failure is not an option for me, then you'll have what you speak. Oftentimes we talk about, people get in crunches and they're like, and I prayed, but when you throw your faith out there, you've got to be ready for what it's going to pull back for you. And oftentimes the harvest that it pulls in is greater than what you thought you sent out for. So very good. I appreciate that, Sharonetta. Project 300.
Yes. And so, and I think too, I had a promo. It was called the mystery box, and you got 3 to 4 items in the box for $115 for a regular size, and then $125 for plus size. And it was successful, with that also. So, like I said, I'm on a high and I don't want to come down. So I just really, really just keep my face, to the grind and really try to bring good quality merchandise to women.
Sharonetta, I am officially impressed. What we can do with a made-up mind, right? And a little effort, intentional effort behind it. Thank you.
All right. So my name is Bridget Martin, and my business is called Faith Up Armor. And it's a Christian apparel brand based in North Carolina, Greensboro to be exact. The concept of Faith Up was actually something I thought of in like 6 years ago, but due to not really pursuing it out of fear and not really knowing what to do, I really didn't get started until 2021 during this pandemic. And so I actually used to, still do sometimes, YouTube videos to encourage people to keep their faith up. And so I was thinking, well, you always wearing graphic t-shirts and you're encouraging the people through video. Why not mesh these two together and you can, continue to encourage? And so I came up with Faith Up. However, there were some issues. So I was like, let me just add Faith Up Armor so there'll be a clear distinction and there won't be any problems. So basically the main objective of my company is to carry the light of Jesus through inspirational, encouraging, positive designs that will spark conversations with other believers as well as non-believers.
So Bridget, if I'm hearing you correctly, you took your passion and put it on a t-shirt. Is that right?
That's correct. Any type of graphic designs relating to scripture, I try to make it more urban, sort of, to speak.
Okay.
Not so much like you wearing a whole verse on your chest, but just you get the point if you know the word. And if you don't, you're going to be like, well, what does that mean?
So you're very intentional about your message. So you started off doing encouragement through YouTube because that is the mission, to encourage people through Bible.
Right. For whatever reason, I've always wanted to encourage people. And if I read something, see something, hear something, and it encourages me, I feel very compelled to share it because I'm like, if it helped me, then I'm sure somebody else can be helped. And so all of that just came full circle with why not impart that into a business idea as well.
What better encouragement than through scripture? I love it. Okay, Bridget, so you know it's coming. You wrote this 6 years ago and then just getting to it. So we need you to tell us about the seize the moment opportunity. Tell us about the seize the moment time, the exact moment, the thought, the emotions, what it took to get you from that 6 year plan on paper to putting your feet to pavement and moving. What did that take? What pushed you?
Well, I kind of had a accountability groups, so to speak. People would I stopped. I went while I was doing the videos and I stopped. People would ask me about that. And so it was kind of convicting. And so I was like, well, I'm trying to do t-shirts and, trying to push them off somewhere else. And I didn't know they was going to start bringing it up again. Like, so you said you was doing these shirts. When is that happening? And I did attempt one time, but I didn't fully. I was half-hearted. So that didn't really work out. And I had because of the pandemic, you couldn't really go anywhere and have these gatherings. We would do it via the internet. And so every single week, someone would say, so about those shirts, and it was aggravating me. So they was actually agitating me to go ahead and do it and, live it out. I had a family member tell me that, sometimes God will send people to agitate you to great. And I was like, whoa, yeah, that's okay. That's what happened.
So you had it down on paper. You pondered it for 6 years. You started it half-heartedly. It didn't work. What was the most difficult thing in starting again?
The process of figuring out how exactly to do it. Because in the beginning, I bought all this equipment and was so excited. And, when something is new, you always excited. But when the actual, okay, you got to actually do this thing came down, it was like, I don't have the wherewithal to continue this on my own. So I need help. So I transferred over to a third party and was like, until I'm able to fully, do this on my own, then that's what I'll do. Also, just trying to break myself down to say, this is enough. Like you're trying to do too much. You're trying to focus on, oh, well, what if people don't like this? What if they like that? And that turned into, now you have 100 designs and which ones are you going to use? So just the process of trying to condense everything from being an overthinker and not be fearful of what other people thought.
That is so monumental. I mean, you said it lightly, you said it lightly, but fear, it is the thing that keeps us oftentimes from being our greatest selves. I mean, when we enter things, we ought to ask ourselves, what would I do with this opportunity if fear was not present? What would I do in this situation if I didn't have fear? How hard would I go at it if I didn't have fear and act on that very answer? What is the greatest me I could be? Very monumental. It's not just fear of our greatest selves, which that's a big one, by the way, But it's also fear, as you mentioned, of what people would think. And then, when we stop and ask ourselves, how important is that? And, people will get over it. They really will get over it. I think the older we get, the more we start understanding people will get over it. You've seen them year after year after year, event after event after event. You're like, we get over it. People will get over it. So, but that fear, you mentioned it, I thought it was very important because I think we can all relate to that fear. Fear is yelling out to your faith, I got shotgun. It's like, if we could learn to not take fear along on the ride with us and with our vision and our journey so that was big. Thank you, Bridget.
My name is Michelle Duncan. I'm the owner of Heaven Sent Candles. We make handmade soy candles. They're non-toxic. They're made using renewable and sustainable materials and that are grown by farmers. So we make candles, we make oil diffusers, we make lip balms, and we're starting to go into making car air fresheners. So we serve anybody who loves candles, male or female, usually from the age of 18 through 55. And then we also do serve business owners who want to give their clients a gift, or if they want to sell them for themselves. We will make the candles, put your logo on the candles, and allow you to be able to market those, sell them, give them as gifts. And then we're going to be starting in July candle making classes as well. And so we started in 2018. I kind of did things backwards. So initially I had an investor who went in with me on this business. It kind of, how I got into the business was, this is probably a challenge, and kind of how I got into the business was basically going through some personal experiences myself. And one day God just had me looking online, looking at candles and how to make candles. Never had a desire to make candles. Never even thought about what candles were made of. I didn't understand that there were multiple types of waxes. I didn't understand any of that. So I basically went into this business not knowing anything about candles. So I initially started with someone that was making the candles for me, but then that began to be kind of costly. So then I said, okay, Michelle, you got to get to the grind. You got to make them yourself. So then I transitioned, went to a candle making class, started training myself on how to make the candles, and we're here today. So we started, I let people smell the candles. They was like, oh, I don't want to wait till you start your website. Just let me buy them now. And so I started selling them, but then I realized I have to go and get my LLC. I need to go ahead and establish my business so that I can protect myself in my company. So I started backwards. I had a product. I had people buying the product, but I didn't have an infrastructure set up. So I didn't have my inventory system. I didn't have an accounting system. I didn't have my LLC. I didn't get that until 2020. So I went through a whole year or so of just kind of my ups and downs, learning the business, and just learning how to get comfortable in what I was doing and build my confidence. I know you talked about the fear factor of owning a business. And for me, even though I'm a business major and I've worked for companies, trained at companies, made a lot of money for companies, it's a different mindset when you go into starting your own business. And it's taking the hat off of being the worker bee that builds another person's dream to building your own dream. And that was intimidating to me. It still is a little bit intimidating to me, but I'm resolved that this gotta work. God allowed me to have 3 years of not paying my mortgage and my community dues. And I felt like, okay, this is because you're wanting me to build this vision. So that's kind of how I fell into it. But now I'm growing in so many ways, and it was founded on the scripture of Matthew 5:16, which says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father, which is in heaven. So when I started this business, I had lost my job. I was losing my car. I was at the point of about to lose my home. And I was just like, you know what? I'll give it all up. Because when I lost my job, I really felt that God was moving me to a different level. And he was saying that, okay, you've worked hard in corporate America. Now I need you to shift. I applied for jobs, couldn't get any jobs. So when he placed this in my spirit, I said, okay, I don't know what, I don't know if that's what it is. And then he placed the name in my spirit. And I was like, okay, you're really going to make me do this. And so I had to step out on faith and say, I'm going into something I have no clue about it. But I said, I want to be a light to others, because this was something that was built in darkness that brought me into light. So I do prayer pillows. Everything is handmade, hand sewn. And it's about bringing light to others and encouraging others. And I pray over every candle so that when people light those candles, that whatever they're going through, whatever darkness they're going through, they'll receive light.
Hey, family, where has the time gone? Slow Walking with Adrienne is coming up on its last episode of this particular season. We'll be back again with the new season in the last quarter of this year, 2021. But I wanted to just come on to say thank you to all of our viewers. Thank you for your support. My gosh, it means so much to me. It's priceless. So thank you so much for your support. It does not go unnoticed. I really, really appreciate you. I'll try and come on periodically during the off season just to say hello because I miss you, and also to wish you well. And that is what I'd like to do. I pray that you and your family have good health, great health, long life, prosperity, peace, and the favor of God. That is my prayer for you. Until next time, I'm Adrienne Lavella, reminding you that whatever it is, we can get through it together. See you soon. If you would like to be a sponsor of Slow Walk It with Adrienne and have your business appear here, simply go to our Facebook or Instagram page, send us a DM. We'd love to have you. Now, back to our show. So tell me, what was the turning point for you, that very moment that caused you to put action to it, to put your feet to the pavement and start running? What was that very moment, that thought? What was it?
I think the very moment that made me run with it was when God kept putting it in my spirit and my finances were like depleted. I had used up all savings. I was just like, what am I doing? I lived in a house with no electricity. I was really like roughing it. And I was like, okay, well, he's being adamant about this. Let me be obedient. And it was like, I've worked hard for other people. And I've always said, why am I building someone else's dream instead of building my own? So I think the moment that I realized that was those first sales, just like Sharonetta said, those first sales. And then when people just was like, your product is really good. And the more feedback I get about my product, the more encouraging I get. And I'm like, you know what, I can really do it. Now I'm still learning social media and getting more, more consistent with that. And I think that just comes with the territory. There's ups and downs. There's slows, like Sharonetta said, and then there's highs. But if you're going to be in business, you gotta have the mindset that whatever may come, I'm going to stick and stay. It's not for the person that wants an instant success, because with every success, there's going to come a time that you're going to have a lull. And if you haven't prepared yourself, or if your mindset is not stick and stay, you're not gonna make it as a business owner.
We are Teriel
and Lizetta
Foster.
Our business is Primerica Financial Services. We're in the business of helping families establish, build a financial present and future through the areas of life insurance for protection, as well as investments for emergency funds, mutual funds, growth, and ultimately college and retirement, to help families build a strong financial house so that we can be prepared not only for now and for when we leave here, but even for the future that we're here.
You know what came to mind as you all were talking about your services is the one that you mentioned, retirement, and it just stuck out to me throughout your whole description of your products and services. And that's because, we're in a COVID season, we're in a pandemic, and um, I can only imagine how many people have gone through their retirement because they were forced to do so. A nest egg that they have been building all of this time, and they have no choice but to drain it in order to keep alive and survive and stay afloat and all of that. So you mentioned retirement. That's really big. How long have you all been doing this business?
Since 2010. So 11 years now we're in business.
Wow, you've been at it for 11 years. Well, there is a position that goes from the studying and the researching to the actual doing it, to the actual action of it, seizing the moment and running with it. And so let me ask you, what would you say was your driving force and your seize the moment to get you to move from, we've researched this business and think we want to go into it, to we're in it, we're too far out to turn back now. So what was your turning point? What was your seize the moment?
Well, actually for us, it was kind of a no-brainer. In 2010, as you know, that was the wake of right after the economic downturn in 2008. Mm-hmm. And we had come to a place in our lives where we had built a pretty nice financial nest egg for ourselves. We're making over six figures combined. And when that economic downturn hit us, that was a wake-up call for us, because we lost everything. And I do mean everything within 6 months from start to finish. And we found ourselves at a place in our lives with our children where we should have been preparing to sail the rest of the years. We found ourselves having to start over at square one. And rebuild from ground zero. So the turning point for us was probably prompted a little more differently than with anyone else, because we were in a prayer mode. We were praying, and actually this opportunity came our way. It was an answer to prayer. Coincidentally, I ran into a friend of mine, a few of us know mutually, who's a multimillionaire. And I thought, wow, what a coincidence to run into this individual. Hey, my husband and I are both unemployed right now. We're highly skillful. There are so many things we can do. We can run a business, whatever. I need an opportunity for employment. And instead, my friend told me about an opportunity to build our own business and build our own wealth. We could not have been more grateful. It came at a time, as I mentioned, that we needed God to give us a solution. Never would have considered, didn't even know we could have our own business because we had been so trained in our environment, in our thinking, to prepare yourself and become skillful and educated and get a good job. Did not know we could create our own jobs and even create employment for others. So it came for us at a time that we needed it. And we were able to recognize the opportunity and take advantage of it. And feet hit the pavement, and we were running fast.
So you would say need pushed you on the track.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It put you on the track and kind of kicked you.
Yes. Yes. And we were so grateful. We were so grateful for an opportunity, because we found out that we were in the position we were in because there were a lot of things that we didn't know that we didn't know.
I see. So that's the education piece. Now, when you mention insurance, that's not exactly the type of business you just, we're going to run down here and do a little research and start this business. I mean, that business forces you to think it through, because there's licensing, there's testing, there are regulations, and so on and so on. And then in mentioning insurance, it's not always the discussion that people want to have. So for other people who are thinking of starting a business, it doesn't have to be insurance, but a business that a business where they have to discuss with people maybe things that people don't feel like having that type of discussion, and it produces a lot of no's. So tell me, how many no's before you actually shook hands with a yes?
Well, the no's came early. To give a number to them, I don't recall. We don't recall.
Lost count.
But the no's turned into basically, we saw them as not now or not yet. And they became motivation for us to continue moving forward. And the yeses, when we became as convinced about what we were doing as we were promoting it, it became easy. And then the no's became less and less, and the yeses began to compound, because what we saw was that there is a need for everyone for what we have, and so it made it easy. And then it's just a matter of just basically preaching what, practicing what we preach, and it made it easy.
So you must believe in what you're offering. Not many people like to be sold to. It sounds like you are past the selling point and you're more so in the we meet a need category, would you say?
Yes.
Exactly. And Adrian, you say that, interestingly enough, as Terriel stated too, because for us, it was not selling at all. The information and the education that we received and the tools that were placed in our hand to do something about it was so life-saving to us financially and in many other areas too. But it was so life-saving to us that we were very evangelistic about sharing this with others, because we knew that how bad they needed it also. Even in the cases where they did not know that they didn't know, we knew that they needed it. And so for us, that made the no's very easy. Sometimes it was hard. No, truthfully, sometimes hard. The no is hard to accept, especially when you've been trying very hard and you haven't gotten a yes. But just for those people who may feel discouraged by no's, please don't, because first there is opposition. There's then you're going to be ostracized, and then eventually you will succeed. There are the yeses beyond the no's, and we did not get in business yet. We actually were so grateful and so thankful for what we received that we were actually in business to give. We wanted to share this with everyone that we knew, who even potentially would have been or could get in the position that we had gotten into through the economic downturn. So it was evangelistic for us, and it was about giving.
What comes to mind as an uh-oh moment? Like, uh-oh, we didn't expect this. Uh-oh, we didn't see this coming. Uh-oh, we didn't plan for this. What would be your uh-oh moment?
Well, one thing about most businesses, it's already said, how many businesses fail just starting out, and then within the first year, and then within the first 5 years. So we've seen that throughout, even in our business. Not for us, because we were determined to continue going forward, but we've seen where people have given up. And one thing you got to know about doing a business is that there are highs and lows. And on the highs, you write them, but you put part of that in your back pocket because you know you're going to need it when you get to the lows.
Right.
And so the uh-ohs for us were the time when we thought we were riding on the crest, and we're going to stay on the crest, and then found ourselves riding down in the valleys, riding in those lows. Those are uh-ohs, and they can discourage you. But together we were able to encourage each other, encourage ourselves. We had great mentorship that helped us and has been helping us to continue to just keep this business going. And now we're not being held to the mentorship, because we know, we're convinced already.
And I was going to say too, a lot of times you try in advance to factor in the variables, but the truth of the matter is you don't know all the variables, and there are things change. I can recall a season in our business where we had camaraderie. We had an awesome team that was working with us. Then we had mentees and mentors. But I can recall a time where it felt like everybody was in the ship together, and then Terriell and I were the only ones rowing. We were the only ones rowing the boat, and everybody's riding. That's an uh-oh moment. Yeah, because
Sure
it makes you feel like either two things. It could make you feel like quitting, or makes you feel like turning against the people that have worked with you to get to this point. And you have to be careful not to do either. Don't quit. Don't turn against the people that have been working with you up to this point. You just find a way to get everybody back on the same page. But it is a rude awakening when it feels like everyone quits, and where everyone was so excited and so persuaded about the vision, just like you. And then all of a sudden they get distracted with another vision. And then all the revelation they had about this one is gone, and they stop turning. That's a whole moment.
That is for sure.
So that definitely sounds like an uh-oh moment. Let's talk about what usually strikes fear in the heart of every entrepreneur or someone who's thinking about starting a business. And that is the funding of it. The funding of it. So tell me how the funding affected you and your business. How did the funding affect you and your business?
For me, I had to start with my own capital. It's kind of hard for me because I'm an online retailer. So people can't come in a store and smell my candles, handle my product. They have to just trust what I'm putting online. And so when you're looking for angel investors, when you're looking for just investors, a lot of times, if you're a small business starting out, you're going to kind of be at the end of the line. So you really got to bootstrap it. You really got to get on social media. You really got to get on some of these funding sites. And you really got to tap into your personal community to see who is willing to invest and seed into your business. And that's the biggest thing, because it takes a lot of money, especially if you have a product. It takes a lot of money. And so that's my point on that.
So Michelle, did it take more than what you had?
It did. And there are sometimes that, I had to wait for orders to come in, and then I had to order the stuff and then make it and then send it out. They don't know that, but you know what I'm saying? And then if you have delays in getting your shipment, that's another challenge. So you work on building relationships, and you don't want to have too much inventory, because then that becomes an issue when you start getting into accounting in your books. And when you are set up where someone is going to invest in your business, they're going to say, well, you're carrying too much inventory for what you got coming in, and you don't want to waste product. So it's a balance. And so, yeah, money is, it rules everything, but you can still do it. That's what I would say. Don't be afraid because you don't have the funds. I started with a seed, but then when that seed was gone, I had to do it myself. And at one point I didn't even have income. So I would say, don't let that be the thing that scares you from doing it. And also make sure that you look at who you're serving and what need are you answering for the people that you're serving. If you don't do that, you're going to fail, because if people don't have a need for it, they're not going to buy it. So I would say those things are key, not just the money, but also making sure that your target market really wants what you're going to put out.
Yeah. You've got to know your target audience. You've got to know them.
So it's nothing about you. And I would say for anybody who's looking at becoming a business owner, take you out the equation. Do a small focus group. Find out what people like, what they want, what their needs are. I would say do that, and then build upon that and build your product. And then look at what it costs. Look at ways to do it at a cheaper way, but still have quality. So there's lots of ways that you can do it. You just have to be creative and be patient, because it's going to test your patience.
Well, the funding in my situation was perfect because I didn't have a lot of money to invest in this business. I had a couple of days left on my last paycheck that they gave me. So it only cost me around about $300, to start a business. I took that $300 and flipped it into a 6-figure business in less than 2 years. Got my credit fixed at the same time, started my business credit at the same time, and now I'm actually at the point where I'm about to start purchasing my first property. So all of that happened off of a little $300 investment. So it's good because you don't have to worry about a brick and mortar business. You don't have to worry about all these investments, as far as, you know, employees and merchandise and, you know, bank loans to pay back to the bank. I mean, none of that stuff. So I actually seen a profit in my business in the very first week.
Wow. So that's impressive. You're talking six figures here, and you're telling me anybody can do it? Anybody can do it? What about someone who has no financial background whatsoever?
Even if you don't have financial background, just as long as you're coachable and you want to change, it's great because we have a mentor system here, and it really aligns you for greatness. That's one thing that I really take value in the company as well, because you hang around 5 millionaires, you be the sixth one.
Yeah.
When I first started, I was not prepared for inventory. I started off using my credit cards, and that's how I first started getting, you know, my clothes. And then after that, when the business began to take off, you know, I was able to pay my credit cards off and then just use that money. I don't have, you know, like fees with paying, you know, like a store rent or whatever, because like I said, I do it from my den, which was just being used as a storage. It was just full of boxes and whatnots. And I just had my husband take everything to the garage, and I just set it up at the store. I bought a portable dressing room and a backdrop and, you know, some mannequins and everything and some racks. And like I said, I don't have, you know, those type of fees, you know, because I do it from my home.
You can talk to your tax attorney, but I know firsthand by experience that a lot of that is a tax write-off. So even the square footage of the home, the percentage of the square footage of the home that you're using is a tax write-off. The utilities that go into it, you know, the lights and so on, the AC and all of that, they percentage it off based on the square footage that you're using. So yeah, tax write-off.
Oh, great.
Yes. Okay, Bridget. So you talked about purchasing machines. And when you talk about machines for printing, screening, and all of that good stuff, that is quite costly. So how did funding affect the start of your business?
Well, I was absolutely not prepared. People were trying to advise me on, oh, you can do this and cheat this and cheat that. And I'm like, cheap doesn't sound good to me. So I actually bought a heat press printer, shirts, and that was a lot. And only to turn around and have somebody else to do it for me at this moment, because I'm not even 2 months into my business. So I'm a baby, you know. And so I did use my credit cards. And I'm also on the road to home purchase. So I'm like, oh no, I need to, you know, back that up. So I got a second job to help pay back what I spent. And because I'm still new, you know, I don't have like a whole like busload of sales, but you know, the sales are streaming, dripping here and there, which I'm fine with because I'm looking at the end goal. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna look back a year, 2 months from now, and you know, it's gonna be great, and all that sacrifice will be worth it.
Right. You understood that you were in it for the long haul and not to get rich quick. Yeah, Antoine, in talking to you, there was something you said that was very unique about your business, and that is that to be in this business, it brings in how many streams of income?
Six streams of income just doing this one business.
Oh, that's major, especially for people who have not been working during this pandemic, or they were working but are no longer working, or people who realize that they're going to need a little more security than the traditional job. Wow. Congratulations on your success. I'm sure people are wondering, how can I join his team? How can I join his team? Not to mention repair my credit and reposition myself, which I think is very key at this point. I think that's something we all should do, especially if you've had low credit for years. This is the perfect time to come up. perfect time. So you should definitely be in the 700 club, 800 if you can, but 700 is fair. It's pretty good. You have your vision and you write it down and you're adding to it and you cradle that baby for a while and no one knows it like you do because you've become so intimately involved with it, which is a good thing. You get out there by yourself and you just start running. So let me ask you, how important, and not just for you all, but to the entire panel, how important to your business is having a team?
Well, a team is critical.
Right.
It's partnership. It's something I'd said before, that a bird cannot fly with just one wing. You can't row in a boat with just one on one side. It takes everyone pulling together. One person can do a business, one person can do something and be successful to a degree, but you personally will burn out. You personally will wear out. But if you have a team that's working with you, where you don't have to do all the work and you have others that are pulling along with it, it actually doesn't just add to it, but it multiplies.
Yeah.
When you add people into your business, it doesn't do an additive process. It is multiplication. It does more than just the number.
Oh, yeah. I would say amen to that. That it
Yeah,
is
well
essential, as Cheryl said, to have a team. You have to be willing to share the work,
Mm-hmm.
to share the spoils, and to share the glory. But you have to have a team with you. No one can, you can do some things alone, but that is short-lived. If you want something to outlive you, you must have a team. You must have a team.
Very good. Very good.
Well, I don't have a team currently right now. It's just me. But when I need any help, I can call on my daughter or my daughter-in-law, if I need extra help. But I currently, do everything myself.
Sharonetta, for someone else who's looking at you who does not have help, they're like, you have help, you have a team. I think teams come in all different sizes and forms. It's certainly not one size fit all. And for the most part, you have a team. It's a family team, but it's a team. Excellent. That's excellent. That's excellent. Excellent.
Yes, and I don't take it lightly either, that, if I call, they do come. So yeah.
That
So
team
you
is
have a
very
family.
important because in less than 2 years, I have over 91 agents all over the United States. And these are all individuals who's all working on success, who's all working on getting out of the 9 to 5 and working on being a boss themselves. So some of my mentors got 3,000 and 4,000 people that they help become 6-figure earners. So teamwork is definitely where it's at. A lot of people say I'm not a people person, but in a world full of people, you got to learn to be a people person, unless you're going to be a dog person or a cat person or maybe a bird lady. You got to understand that people is who you're going to make your money with. So a team is very important. But like I said, yeah, right now, this time next year, hopefully I'll have over 300 agents on my team, and we're constantly growing. So I'm big on team. I'm big on leadership. Big on mentorship. I just love it.
Oh, yeah, I
Wow.
believe team is important. I have like a shadow team, that helps me like, no, don't do that, or that looks good, or I don't think people will like that. And, kind of keeps me alive. I think it's important. Even I have a team that doesn't even know we're a team member. I follow someone on Instagram and I'm like, oh, you're giving me free tips. Yes, ma'am. I love it.
Free tips. Wow. Bridget, you keep throwing out these nuggets. I mean, I think oftentimes we miss out on great mentorships because we are stuck on the traditional up close and personal, give me your time, versus being able to be mentored from a distance. Some of the greatest mentorships are from a distance. And I mean, in doing that, you're proving that you are emotionally and adaptively agile. I mean, you're just smart to be able to recognize the moments to seize when you have a mentor in front of you and you're not stuck on the traditional they need to spend time with me, but you can actually learn and realize that this is a mentor that's meant for me, and I'm not even taking their time. I don't have to call them. They don't have to call me. I get what I need whenever I want it. I mean, that's genius. So that's genius. You keep throwing out these nuggets.
I'll say that it's important because I had to learn this the hard way. I was doing everything myself, and it would take me sometimes a whole day. It might take me, a couple days. But by adding people to my team and utilizing their genius, I can get things done much quicker than if I did it myself. So it was very important for me to be able to add people on. Now, when you do that, that comes with the price, but sometimes you can barter. If you help me with this, I'll help you in your business here. And so I think that it's pivotal because you're not going to be able to do everything yourself. I'm actually looking to probably see how I can get interns for marketing so that I don't have to pay them. And so I still get the quality of the work. Partnering with other people who know resources that are, not expensive. I have a friend that says I got a guy. And so I use that friend all the time because they got a guy. And, it has worked for me. I think being a business owner is also balancing your time. And I had to learn that the hard way. I was not balanced. In some areas, I'm still trying to get balanced. So I would say it's good to start building your team.
Build a team.
And even if you got to say, hey, it may take me 2 weeks to pay you, but I'll pay you, and you work out some kind of relationship with those people, I think that you'll get a lot more accomplished and you'll be able to do things a lot more quicker.
Excellent, Michelle. Build the team. Don't sleep on partnering. Excellent. I have really appreciated every panel guest that have come on to the show. It's been a delight to have you. And I hope as our viewers that you were encouraged, enlightened, inspired. That was the whole point, to get you inspired while we tell you about ordinary people. And so that's going to be all for today. Until next time, I'm Adrienne Lavella, reminding you that we will get through it together. We'll love together. We'll laugh together. We'll forgive together. We'll heal together. Let's do life together. I was going to say I'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m., but we are drawing to a close on our season. So we will see you again for the next season. We have a great lineup of shows, and we'll have time to put together something for you that you'll really, really enjoy. So it's been fun. Thank you to all of our viewers. We'll pick up in the next season. Have a wonderful day.